Welcome to Showtime All the Time, the podcast of the Henrico Sports and Entertainment Authority. I'm Dennis Bickmeier, the Executive Director of the Authority. I'm joined by Matt Reynolds, the President of NXTPRO Hoops, also known as PRO16 League. Make sure I got that right. But Matt spearheads all their strategic partnerships, athlete exposure, and national youth basketball circuits for NXTPRO. Matt, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Well, we're coming to you from a locker room. I know you can see the backdrop here, but we're at the Henrico Sports and Events Center for a very important reason. This will be our biggest basketball extravaganza that we've had here, and Matt's going to tell us all about what he's doing here with NXTPRO, what's ahead for us over the next few days. So let's just start there. Tell us about NXTPRO, the Pro League, the Puma event that's happening here, and what can we expect over the next few days?
Yeah, we're really excited. Over the next 4 days, we will have nearly all 30 NBA teams will be represented with general managers, scouts. They're watching our top guys, as well as over 400 colleges have already registered, including the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kansas, you name them, they're here. And obviously I named the Big Blue Bloods, but there are...
we got some Virginia schools coming,
There's
right?
some Virginia schools. VCU,
sure.
I think, is bringing their whole staff. So Richmond will be here. There will be a lot of different schools of a lot of different levels. And really, that's something where this weekend there's going to be over 5,600 kids that will play in this event in Richmond. And obviously a lot of those are coming with their families, so it's a great opportunity for them to see the city of Richmond, see Henrico, see this beautiful place that you guys have built. And on top of that, it's a great opportunity for them to get recruited and change their life, which is really our mission, is let's provide as many opportunities as we can to get kids college paid for. I was fortunate, I had about like 85% of my school paid for, went to a D2, and that was big for me. I didn't have the big loans, but unfortunately, a lot of us, we get out of college and you do have the big loans, and obviously, hey, that's part of life for some, but as much as we can, limiting that and also giving them life experiences on the way is huge. And I should mention, we have teams from literally around the world. Australia is represented here with over 40 teams. China is represented, Japan, Puerto Rico, Canada, Mexico. I'm probably missing some.
But you threw out some countries I wasn't even aware of.
There's a lot of countries.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool, awesome event from a college perspective for them to be surrounded by so many college coaches. Obviously, it's kind of stressful for the athlete a little bit. And to have a great place that you guys have built here, the biggest thing when you first enter this place, obviously it's new, it's nice. But it's very spacious. So as you mapped out the designs, whoever did that, give them their credit. They gave a lot of space where, some places you go and it's like, all right, we got a court here and a court here, and they're jammed against each other, which you can make work.
Right.
But, it's nice to have the space. So we're really excited to be here.
Well, we're thankful that you guys are here. Again, this is one of the biggest ones, the biggest event that we've done, obviously. We should also mention that you guys are also using the convention center downtown. So it's not just here at the Sports and Events Center, the convention center downtown. You've got girls athletes that are playing as well throughout this weekend, and I think next, if I'm not mistaken.
Next, yep. So. Next weekend is the girls, this weekend's the boys. Over at the convention center will be a lot of the middle school players, which obviously college coaches aren't really watching 13 and 14-year-olds yet. They'll get there. But it is still a really cool opportunity, and what I love about it is obviously it gives some exposure to downtown Richmond, which is awesome. But those little guys, they're going to be here too, because they'll play their game, then they're going to come over here and they want to watch. Right. They want to see, the North Carolinas on the sideline. That's just a cool thing. I mean, it's still, I'm far from a kid anymore, but it's still a cool thing to see, like, oh, there's an NBA scout. We have a general manager from a team that's going to be attending this weekend, and he's literally the guy drafted.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for all levels, but for those little ones that will be down at the convention center, obviously they'll see a lot of downtown Richmond area, great venue there, but they'll also get to come here and see them in action.
Well, what's great is we have you for a couple more years as well with this event. Yeah. So those middle schoolers that are playing at the convention center will maybe eventually get here by the time our relationship ends, and hopefully we'll be able to extend it at some point as well. So that'd be good. But talk about that a little bit. So obviously the sports center here, we're relatively new, a couple years old. You guys have done this around the country. I think you were in Arizona last year, if I'm not mistaken. What goes into site selection for this event?
For us, we look at a number of things. I talked about space earlier, and it may seem kind of funny, but it is something that we really do look at. The first time we did this event 3 years ago, we were in Houston. And the particular venue we were out there, we learned a lot of lessons of, can't have tight courts. You need to make sure that they don't have leaks on their court. You need to make sure they have good air conditioning. All of those things, are very important. Phoenix was a spot, obviously in Phoenix at this time of the year, it's like 120 degrees, which they say dry heat. You can miss me with that. It's still very hot. But, looking at this venue in particular, what stood out for us is one, it's on the East Coast. Almost all the big circuits this particular weekend are on the East Coast. We've not really been a follower, so it wasn't like we had to be here. But when you work with really good people, Michael, yourself, and any staff we've worked with here, I would say it has a small town feel, which I like, being from Oklahoma. But it's still got a lot of big city to it, where there's resources here. There's obviously a good downtown area. There's a good area here around the venue here in Henrico. But you also have, like I said, that personality and personal standpoint, which may seem like, just coach talk, but truthfully, it really does matter to us, because you want people that, all right, we're always going to have problems. It's an event. It's like the reality is there's going to be things that pop up in life.
We manage them. We just don't want the guests to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But we manage them. And the truth of the matter is, when you work with people that have the best interests of, all right, let's put on a great event. Sure. Let's show off our great venue, like you guys have been, then it allows us to, one, not have as many problems, and two, when we do, we solve them quickly. Like you said, the guest experience is great for the players, the college coaches, the NBA teams, and the parents that are here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it's something that we focus on. And, the one thing, I love what you said about, kind of that small town feel, but we do big events here. I mean, we've done 100%. NASCAR here in our market for 70 some years, PGA Tour events. So we have the A10 here in this venue as well. So it's a lot of fun. But talk a little bit about NXTPRO, the Pro 16, kind of the growth that you guys have experienced over the years that you've been in existence. So what's that growth been like for you guys?
It's been really rapid. It's been really great. I would compare it a lot. Obviously, look, I'm not going to say Richmond last year was my first time, but when I came, I learned a lot about the city. I think Richmond's grown a lot.
Sure.
This area here in Henrico has grown a lot. And when you look at what we've been able to do, in large part, it's a big thanks to our staff. They've done a good job. We really pride ourselves on bringing care to the industry. We've innovated the industry. We do very different things. This weekend here, part of our event, we have the best 48 junior college players in the country that are in this event in a partnership with us and Puma. And if you look at the way that's changed the landscape now with NIL and with the transfer portal, those guys that are junior college, they are more coveted than a high school senior, because you want the player that's 21, 22. So I just, I mentioned that because we've done so many unique things, and I think the innovation has been a big part. And we're starting to see the industry, look, you do something, you have success, you change it, they follow. So we'll have to continue to do that. But it's been a really fun ride, and Puma's a great part of it. This weekend, actually, for Richmond, next year, mark this down here. Next year, when we do our shoe, I need to get Richmond somehow on the shoe.
All right, perfect.
I got to work that in. But we do have a shoe that just released, particularly for this event this weekend. So that's really cool. Puma does a lot of great things.
And you can get that shoe here?
You can get it here, yeah. Right. I think there's only 200 of them in the world. So there's not a whole lot of them left. But it's a cool thing to wear. Again, it's very unique. Custom thing. Like I said, we'll have to hold me to that. We'll have to get Richmond on that shoe somehow.
Well, let's stay on that subject for a second on the collaboration with Puma. So how did all that come about, and the partnership that you have with them? Puma
came about when I left where I was before. I was with a company in this industry for 7 years, and then I left, started this company coming up on 5 years here this fall. The biggest thing of our industry is you need to be aligned with the shoe brand, because the highest level players, their goal is to go to the NBA. And when they go to the NBA pays them a lot of money, but they want to get a sneaker as well. And they're all getting paid, or, whether it's in cash, most of them are getting paid, and then also in product. Some are getting paid product, depends on how good you are, obviously the level of talent, but it's all attached to a shoe brand. And so you see guys on the Puma side like Tyrese Halliburton, who just went to the NBA Finals. Sure. LaMelo Ball, Scoot Henderson, the list goes on. But those players, the goal of this league is, as we're fostering these relationships with these, young high school kids, the best ones that make it to the NBA, we want them to not just wear our brand here in high school, but be able to go on and exemplify that in the NBA. And recently, a great example of that is just a week and a half ago, we had our first potential draft class. Obviously, they got to finish high school and go to college. And Asa Newell was drafted from this league, literally played in this event in Houston 2 years ago. So last year we had an event, like you said, in Phoenix, the same event. Of that event, 3 of those kids are projected to go in the lottery next year. This year, we won't know who's projected yet until this time next year, but I would say we have a great chance to have multiple athletes that are headed to the NBA and living out their dreams, which again, Puma does a great job with that. And obviously they, provide the kids with a ton of gear. There's a lot of added benefit from that standpoint. Who doesn't like
That's right.
gear of any kind?
Hey, look, just for the record, I'm not sure how this is going to show on the podcast, but I broke out the old school Pumas here.
He's wearing
come on, got these out of the closet. I actually have 2 pairs of these. I have a red and black pair as well. So there you go. So, but it's great. It's great to have partnerships like that. Obviously, we can't do what we do without 100%. Those types of partnerships and the support that we get. And I think, as you mentioned, a lot of the Puma execs that
we've got a lot of them coming. So this will be actually, for most of them, it'll be their first event. So it's a great opportunity to not just see our event, but this is when you talk about site selection, this is what goes into it. When you have, someone that is really important to you, whether that's a college coach or, in this case, high Puma executives, you want them to come and see a great event. Well, I can do that. I can bring the college coaches. I can get them anywhere. We can do that. But what you can't do anywhere is you can't have a great facility that has got all the great things about it where, yes, again, we can dress them all up, but there's just only so much you can do if the facility is not of an extremely high level. And we run 70 events across the country in 67 different facilities. Some of those are obviously repeaters. Of that, this is up there with any of them. It's the best of the best that there is, and I don't know if people are aware of that in Henrico or in
We're
Richmond,
making them aware of it.
but we're trying to.
Right.
So, and I'm not. I promise you, I'm not getting told to say it like that's truthfully our belief, and that's where again it just kind of comes together perfect, where you have a growing city in Richmond, a growing area in Henrico, great people here, and obviously a great facility that was well thought out. And I was looking around today, you still got the space upstairs from us that who knows what you put there, but you've still got great things that you put in.
Yeah, there's 7,000 square feet of space up there. Something's going to speak to us. Something's going to land up there. So again, we're talking top high school basketball players, recruitable athletes. Talk a little bit about, you've provided this platform for them to come and showcase their talents and things. As you mentioned, you bring the college coaches, the NBA scouts, but talk a little bit about other things that you do for these athletes from an exposure standpoint. There's some streaming, you try to follow them on their journey as well, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like to get a scholarship, but then how do you help them grow?
Yeah, we do a lot. So we have a documentary that's released every year. Obviously this weekend, it'll be a very big part of the documentary. It follows their journey off the court just as much as it does on. Frankly, that's a good opportunity to get to know the athlete. It's great for them because people get to know them, their following grows. Great for us because we get to show our league and who these kids are. And, they come from such different backgrounds. It's just like anything in life. Some people have it really tough in life and some people have it really great in life. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're in the middle. The reality is we're all trying to succeed in our paths and our different ways. And so, we have a big presence on social media. We have a big presence, like I said, with the documentary. One of the coolest things, and I know you guys just had ESPN in here with the cornhole event. 2 of the games tomorrow on Thursday will be broadcast on Peacock Live with NBC. So that'll be huge. Right over on Court 8, great spot to have it. And obviously it's just another platform for them to really grow. We have 10 games on Peacock every year, 2 of them every year of our partnership. That's a 5-year partnership we have. So every year we're here.
That's right.
And even when we extend out, there will always be 2 games on there. So that's a great thing. I mean, who can say at 16 or 17 years old, I've played on national television? Not many. And so it's a great opportunity to showcase that. Also a great opportunity to showcase this venue, as well as
the community,
city
all
and
that.
the community, all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just getting down to the last few minutes here. You speak with a lot of passion for what you do. Where does that passion come from? What put you on this journey to do this?
I would say, my passion comes from, I didn't know this was a career field, frankly. At 19, I was not some great basketball player. I loved basketball. When the Thunder came to Oklahoma City, where I'm from, in 2008, which I was in high school. Seems like ages ago. But they came when I was in high school. They really shaped a lot of, I loved college basketball, but just had never really been around the NBA. The Hornets were a couple years before that when Hurricane hit New Orleans, and we had the team for a little bit. So that really shaped my journey, I would say, into basketball and just the love for it. At 19, my baseball career ended it quickly there. And, when that happened in college, it was like, all right, let's go to the next thing. And the next thing for me was getting into broadcast journalism. So I wanted to be on TV or radio, which I did for a while.
You could do it. You're pretty smooth with all this stuff.
The radio career went for 7 years. I did it alongside this. But really, my passion grew from the first few events I did because we do cover these athletes throughout the season, throughout their high school season as well. And there's nothing like the experience of seeing a kid's life get changed. They weren't going to college. They had no chance to go. And when you see that, the raw emotion is, I don't know how you can't just be like ripped to be like, all right, let's go do this some more. And so now we're doing more than we've ever done, which is great. I don't necessarily maybe have as close a relationship with all the athletes. How can you when you have as many as we have? But try to obviously help as many as we can. We're helping more than we ever have, but it really comes from those first few years of seeing a kid go to a junior college or a Division II or Division III. Every now and then, obviously, yes, the Division I story is great, but the reality is the Division I kid, they're probably going to go to Division I no matter what, right? They just are what they are. Now, sometimes, yes, they're harder to find, and you really do help a kid. One of the early kids, Sean Padula, he actually went to Virginia Tech down the road, not too far, for 3 years. Was a really good point guard for them. He's one of the first ones that was in that Oklahoma bubble that, again, you just watch and you try to give as much media coverage at this event, whether that's through social media or the platforms like we have with Peacock and NBC and such, to just get them on their journey. But that's really, I would say, there's just nothing better than seeing, wow, I didn't know this was possible, and they're making their dreams come true, whatever level that is.
So if you had to pick a couple of highlights, kind of looking ahead for the next few days, what are the wins for you guys this week?
I would say the biggest one will be when all the college coaches walk in the door. They'll trickle in tomorrow morning at around 11:30 tomorrow is when the big first big games start. And there's just, it's a really cool thing to just sit there and just kind of watch of, oh wow, every chair is filled up. You'll see if you come out to the event that court is set up differently than the others because there will be 300 college coaches at one point watching one basketball court, which is crazy. There's only 10 players on the court at one time, so it's a lot of schools. They obviously can't get all the players, but they'll fight for them and do what they do. But that's a key moment. I would say that Thursday moment is always fun. And then as we go throughout the weekend, one really unique thing, if you like competition, is on Sunday. There are a set of 3 games, and they'll be played. And in these 3 games, these 3 teams are fighting. If you win, you're in. If you lose, you're out. So this continues on next week into just a straight bracket form. But there is nothing like, think NCAA tournament, first 4. That's kind of the vibe here. And it's a great opportunity where they're all really good players, but there's just something different when hey, if we lose this game, we're done. Like, we're eliminated, and they're all fighting obviously to keep their season going along. And mind you, the projected teams that are in that range have 7 kids in the top 50 in the country. Wow. So there's some really talented kids that could be on that elimination block where they're going to have to perform. So I would say those are the 2 big things. Sunday's always fun when you have that competitive, and then obviously Thursday, and there'll be a lot of great moments in between.
And these athletes, just so I'm clear too, is these athletes come together as a team, as a unit, right? They're not just handpicked and put together. How does that work?
So every team's built a little differently. I think that's something that's really unique about our league is where we let them decide how they want to do that.
Okay.
We'll give them suggestions, obviously, of, hey, here's these maybe 3 or 4 ways. Some think outside the box. Hey, that's what you want to do. Great. But some are handpicked of like the program will go to the best high schools. Like let's use Henrico as an example. They'll go to the best 3 or 4 schools in the 20 minutes and say, all right, I want to invite this kid and I want to invite this kid. Obviously the kid has to accept the invitation. Some of them are more local. Some of these teams, I call them super teams. Think of the Miami Heat days with LeBron where he's like gets his buddies and he all teams them up. They're really good and they team up, and you have to be in an adjoining state or within your state. So if I'm in Virginia, I can be whatever state touches Virginia, you can have players from that state and Virginia. A lot, I would say, are mainly one state teams, but our Pro 16...
Or one country.
Or one country, yeah, which, hey, you got a lot to work with there. But a lot of our Pro 16 teams have kids from multiple states represented on their team. For instance, we have a team out of DC. They have a ton of kids from Virginia. So they're technically out of Washington, D.C., but they have a ton of kids from Virginia as well as D.C. and the other areas that touch D.C. So it's up to them. But again, we're looking for high character kids and kids who really want to strive to have that opportunity to play at the next level. Whatever that level is, doesn't much matter to us, but giving them that opportunity.
Well, we're excited to have you guys here. We're excited about the competition that's ahead of us, and certainly the eyeballs that are going to be watching, not just with the coaches and the NBA, and certainly the TV part, the component that you guys bring to this. But welcome to our community. We're thankful that you guys are here. Thankful that you selected our venue and the convention center. We look forward to working with you and your team going forward.
Well, and thanks to your team for everything that you guys have built here. You've obviously made it to where we could come. And when we went on the site visit, it was an easy decision. Some of the site visits, I hate to say this, but sometimes you go to a place and you're like, oh man, how are we going to tell them? Like, we can't come here. Like, this isn't going to work. So thankfully, it was a great experience, has been, and we really look forward to the future years.
We certainly appreciate the partnership. So, and thank you all for tuning in and to the Showtime All the Time podcast. And we'll look forward to some great highlights coming out of this weekend as well that we'll be able to share with everybody. So, Matt, thank you. Good luck this week and next. And thanks everyone for tuning in.